Hi, my name is Yacht. I've explored many countries and lived in Australia, France, Florida, and Hawaii. Follow me as I explore the world on my quest to find a special place that my family will one day call home. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel. So today I'm going to be discussing Foz do Arelho. I'm sure I'm probably butchering it because my Portuguese is non-existent. So going forward, I'm going to call it Foz. So with Foz, a couple of things I'm going to be touching on is, what is it to do? What's the restaurant situation like? Where to live, where to stay, if you're going there for vacation, or you plan on living there long term, families versus if you're a single person, and then food, shopping, restaurants, and then lastly, my final thoughts. So I kind of touch on all of those. But first up, generally, what is there to do? I spent 2 days in Falls, just checking out the area because I have a good friend there. Josie Posey, I'll put a link down in the description to her channel. She's been living in Falls for about a year now, and she has a young family as well. So, we've been kind of throwing off ideas back and forth, and we've been kind of probing her with questions of how it is to stay there. But I wanted to check it out for myself. Everyone's situation is a little unique, so based off my family situation, I had to see it myself. So spent 2 days there, checked it out. Basically, when it comes down to what is there to do, hardly anything, in my opinion. Beyond the beach and the lagoon, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's some cool restaurants, which I'll kind of touch on that a little bit later, but that's it. The lagoon is dope. I've been dying to see this lagoon. It is all over YouTube, all over the blogs. It is amazing, especially if you're into water sports. So kayaking, kite surfing, fishing, and it's a great place for little kids too because there's no waves. So, it's great for little kids to splash around in. It's a great place. However, the beach side, the waves were humping when I was there. I know it's winter. I saw a bunch of surfers out there catching, good sized waves. And if you're not like an expert swimmer, I do not recommend you hopping in there. I'm an okay swimmer, and I was like, nah, it's a little bit too dangerous for me. So, just something to keep in mind that most likely the kids won't be able to utilize that beach, especially during the winter months. I mean, I don't know about the summer, but the waves were kind of humping. Beyond that, there's not much else to do. So, where to stay? When it comes to places to stay within Falls, you have basically two pockets. You have like the beach area, lagoon area, and right slightly above the hill, there's maybe some Airbnbs up there. And then you have like Foz proper, like the main part of Foz, where there's a bunch of little houses and a bunch of Airbnbs where most likely you'll find the majority of places to rent and etc. As far as renting a place for a long term, I guess short term or medium term. When I say that, I mean, a couple months, a year. There's pretty slim pickings in Foz. By American standards, rent-wise, what we were seeing, maybe 1,200, 1,500 euros a month. not too bad, but by, Portuguese standards, it's quite expensive. And then if you want to purchase a house there, if you just fall in love with the place, it's expensive. I mean, if you want a legit like American style house, looks pretty nice, nice space, you'll easily spend 500,000 euros, even more, up to 650, 700. And if you want something really pimp, you can find $1 million houses there. Well, million euro houses there. So it's a little pricey place, just so keep that in mind if you decide that you fall in love with the place and you want to settle down there. It can be a little pricey. So next topic, single versus families. Is this the right place for you? And I'll touch on the family part because that's why I went there, just to check it out and see if this could be a place to eventually bring my family. And I have 2 young kids, so I want a place where they're safe, they can roam around and can enjoy just being a kid. And it is pretty good for families, I have to admit. A lot of young kids are playing around. There's a little small, when I say small, I mean very small playground in Falls. And I saw kids riding the bikes, families at the beach, kids swimming in the lagoon. It seems to be a pretty good place for families. Now, if you're single, this may not be the little town for you. There are some restaurants / bars, but at least when I was there in the winter, it wasn't popping. So, maybe in the summer things perk up a little bit. There's a lot more tourists that come in, and it could be a good place to, find a hookup or whatever. But I mean, it may not be the spot for you. You may need to check out some other places, and just consider that if you're looking to check out this place at certain times of the year. So, food, shopping, and restaurants. Where do you get your grub? Or good restaurants in the area, in Falls. I hit on all those points. So as far as restaurants, there are a mixture of some restaurants there. There's like a chain of restaurants along the beach, near the lagoon. It's really nice. The setting is really nice. There's like a nice promenade or boardwalk. We would say boardwalk, but the cobblestone walk area along the lagoon and to the beach, and there's a bunch of restaurants kind of lining that area. There are some pretty good choices there. I ate there a couple times, and it was legit. It was good stuff. The prices were pretty good compared to what other places I've been. So up in San Martino, Porto, and in Caldish, Durania, which I'll touch on a little bit later. But it had some decent restaurants. Now, in like Foz proper, like the main town of Foz, away from all the beach area and etc., there are a couple restaurants. I wouldn't say a couple, but there are some choices. I ate there a couple times. It was okay, it was decent, but you do have some options there, which is always good. Good to have some options. Supermarkets and mini mercados and etc. There are some mini mercados. I was able to get fruit and veggies. I love oranges and grapes and all that kind of stuff. So, and fruit juice, I tear that stuff up. So I was able to find everything I wanted out there. Water, everything. They also had a little section. One place I went to, the little mini mercado, was called My Foz the Arelho. I guess that was the name of it, but it was pretty good. It was pretty adequate. So finding little odds and ends, finding like just the necessities of trying to make your meal. If you're missing ketchup or mustard, or you needed cooking oil, you can find in that little mini mercado. And I think there's another one not too far down from that. So there are actually a couple there. Now, if you want to do like big shopping, like a real like proper U.S. size supermarket, that's not the place. You actually have to drive into Caldas, Durania to go to the big supermarkets, and they have a ton of big supermarkets there, and so I want to check those out too. So as far as other little shopping odds and ends, if you really want to find something, clothes, whatever, you gotta go into Cowdish. That's like the nearest big town, and that's where you'll be able to find everything. All right, so I think I've touched on all the highlights, and just one final thing is what is my overall thought of Foz, and could I see myself living there? If I had to grade it from like American grading system from A to F, with A being stellar and F being poor, I'll put it roughly around C. And that's in comparison to the other places I've been to in Portugal. So Nazaré, São Martinho de Porto, Salida de Porto, Lagos, Lisbon. I've been all those places. So I would put it at a C. And it's just because for people that are single, you need to look elsewhere. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Families, you could live there, but to me, there wasn't a lot to do for families. They had a little playground and stuff like that, but I mean, as far as like true activities, there wasn't a lot. Even for adults. I mean, if you're not a water activity person, like kayaking, fishing, or any of the water sports, Falls may not be for you. You may have to look elsewhere. So, based off of that, it's roughly C, and it doesn't have the big supermarkets. And if I really need something, I would have to drive into Caldas to kind of get it. It's not that far of a drive, maybe 20 minutes, but I still would have to drive into Caldas to get what I needed. So, I would put it at a C. It's a beautiful place as far as, the lagoon, the beach. If you're into that type of thing, like I mentioned, housing, it could be hit or miss. If you plan on buying and you want American standard houses, you're going to have to fork up some cash. And then lastly, the one thing I did forget to mention was diversity. Did I see a lot of diverse people? You know what I'm saying? People of color there. And the answer is no. Resounding no. Other places I ran into a few people of color, but Foz, nah, there was nobody. So, if that's something that's on your list, you want to live in a diverse place, you may need to look another town, another city, and etc. So, I did see a few people of color in São Martinho de Porto. I was pleasantly surprised. And, the customary, what's up to my brothers. So, it was cool. But in Foz, no, it was hardly anybody there. So keep that in mind, for other people that aren't, really concerned about having a diverse place and they just want to feel safe and just relax. It could be for you. So, definitely check it out. If you come to Portugal, spend a few days there, see if it's, see if it's your jam, and then kind of go from there. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll show you the rest of the clips.